Good
No,
morning.
that's a whole other thing.
All right. Before we talk about Houston, which is why we have you on, did you ever badmouth Kelly Jackson when you were on any of your radio stations?
Kelly Jackson? Why would I say anything bad about Kelly Jackson? I watch her every Saturday and Sunday morning.
Thank you very much. Kelly Jackson, say hi to JC.
Hi, JC.
Hello, Americans.
All right, JC. So how long did you spend in Houston?
I was there about too long. I was there about a year and a half.
Year and a half.
I moved down there, bought a house, got all settled in, and 4 months after I got there, I started hearing rumors that they were going to convert from classic rock to hip hop. So unless I wanted to change my name to Jay-Z, I was out. And sure enough, they flushed the whole station. Like 20 people got fired, and that was the end of it. So we came back.
So you were there, almost 2 years?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
And so the house you bought is now underwater?
Well, actually, I don't know. I know as of 2 days ago, they were evacuating my community. It was one of those brand new communities where, they built the house and we moved in the next day. And the Brazos River is the thing you got to keep your eye on because it cuts right through, I guess you would say, the western and southwestern areas of Houston, which happens to be the very well-to-do areas. Through some sort of clerical error, I was allowed into one of the well-to-do areas where we bought our house. And, when you're driving along through this area in Sugarland, which is what it's called, you see these amazingly large floodplains and these huge, sewer districts and these big gullies. And you're like, why would they need these things to be so big? And then you find out when something like this happens. And, the infrastructure in the southwestern areas and the southwestern suburbs, the whole new areas, that's all pretty well planned for. But it's the areas as every else where it's been covered with concrete and asphalt and where it's all been built up because 1,000 people a week move into the Houston Metroplex. 1,000 a week. They expect the population of Houston to grow by 3 million people in the next 30 years. And what was once, areas of grassland and just soil, earth, Mother Earth, has all been covered over with parking lots and buildings and apartment complexes and houses and stuff like that. And so there's no place for the water to go. There's a Rice University professor, a climate scientist, who's been warning about this for years, much like, New Orleans and Katrina a couple of years back, where he's been saying that this is a disaster waiting to happen, and it finally did.
So I know you've been in contact with some of your friends down there, some radio people and experts. When you see the pictures on television, the roads are now covered with water. So you would look at a picture and see, these roads, major highways and thoroughfares, and now they're just sort of rivers and tributaries.
It's hard to really make out what you're looking at because, much like when we've had tornadoes here in the St. Louis area, like the Maryland Heights tornado a couple of years back, they would have drone footage or go over a helicopter and you're looking down. You don't even know what you're looking at because all the landmarks are gone, the streets are covered over, and so it's really hard for me to make out what was going on. But one thing that did happen was 3 nights ago we were watching CNN. I'm not that big a fan of CNN, but we were watching because they had good flood coverage. And they were showing Katy, Texas. Now, Katy is another nice suburb that's to the northwest of the Houston Metroplex, and a very nice suburb in there. And I have a friend, a gal from St. Louis, who I used to date back in the 80s, and she's married and got kids and the whole thing. And so when I was down there, I just reconnected with her. So the other night we were watching, and it showed Katy, Texas. And I figured, well, as a formality, you send somebody a text, and you go, hey, we're watching on TV, we just want to make sure you guys are doing okay. And you expect them to say, oh, yeah, we're fine, the flood hasn't affected us. And all she said was, we lost our house. This thing knows no borders. It knows no borders at all. It's just, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white, rich or poor, whether you're in the city or out in the suburbs. This thing has just been devastating for everybody.
Once the water subsides, kind of like Katrina, once the water subsides, that's when the real devastation takes place.
Well, that's when they're already showing people. You only have to have like your siding on the side of your house or a finished basement or something like that, drywall, that only has to be exposed to water for 24 to 36 hours before mold sets in. And they're already showing people ripping out, right down to the studs and stuff like that. So that cleanup has already begun. But the other thing that's going to happen is this discussion about what do we do? Because you got another hurricane, you got a tropical depression, and you got another hurricane heading for the Gulf area. They're not sure whether it's going to, hit Texas yet because it's too early. But, it's possible that they could get hit again. But even if they don't by this, there's got to be some discussion about what they're going to do because they're just sitting ducks. The infrastructure in the Houston area, it's just been a land grab and a money grab as these people, 1,000 a week, keep moving in over and over and over again, and people are just taking the money. But the infrastructure isn't there. The zoning is terrible. You'd be driving along, and there's like a $40 million mansion next to a Burger King. There's just no zoning laws down there, and the whole infrastructure, the whole Houston Metroplex is so screwed up, and this is all going to happen again.
Yeah. They're saying that the airports are opening up, and so some of that sort of is getting back to normal. But gas...
Yeah, downtown is dry. The mayor came out today and said downtown is dry, and they're open for business. There's the way Houston works. You've got the downtown area, and then about 6 miles to the west, you have what's called the West Loop, and that's almost like it's almost like a mini downtown. There's lots of businesses and high rises and stuff like that, and office buildings there, and all of that is in pretty good shape right now. But the areas, like I said, that Brazos River thing, and to the northwest, and then you get into a place called Humble. It looks like it should be pronounced Humble. It's Humble. Humble, and those areas you're going to be hearing about that for months, possibly even years.
You see gas prices up to what, $2.50 a gallon here in St. Louis?
Right.
I'm surprised it's not higher. Go down to Texas, the gas is free. No, I'm just kidding. But it is. Yeah, this is going to have a ripple effect in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, they're out of gas in Houston. As a matter of fact, I saw that last night. They were saying that there is no gas in Houston.
In Houston, and oddly in Dallas, because they can't get deliveries or something. So there's all sorts of problems throughout the state of Texas. And again, as we look towards the first part and the middle of next week, you've got another story brewing because of this. I think it's Hurricane Irma. They expect that to hit 4.
JC, someone's playing with your phone. Are you there? Did I lose him?
Mm-hmm. I think we did lose him.
Yeah. JC, you there?
Nope.
Well, looks like you didn't.